And good evening and welcome to another edition of the Ralph's Opinion Show. And my name is Ralph Williams. I am the host of the Ralph's Opinion Show. What do you want to talk about? Let me talk to you. All right. Tonight we got a lot to talk about. We're only going to be here for 30 minutes because I have a prior another obligation at 8:30. Don't forget to tune in to the Sports Scope Show with Robert Butler. And that's coming up at 8 o'clock. And I will be on his show at 8:30 to talk about Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's with Robert Butler on his show, The Sports Scope. And that's he's on every night, 8 o'clock p.m. Right now, if you're interested in some sports talk, the Sports Nuts are on. You can tune in to Brandon Keeler, Matt Thomas, and the gang there on the Sports Nuts. They are on right now on the Sports Nuts Network, so don't forget to tune in to them as well. All right, and we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, Studio 10 here in Berlin, Maryland, and that is 724-201-0500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata. Call them today for all your needs in Western Pennsylvania and all your air conditioning and heating needs. They also have UV lighting and snow melt, which is very important right now because of some big storms coming up, I'm hearing. So we'll see what happens there as well. Mike Dotson Realty, Ocean City, Maryland. Don't forget to give him a call at 410 area code 596-1681. All your real estate needs in Ocean City, Maryland. Short-term rentals, rental property, or if you're interested in buying some real estate, get a hold of Mike today. That number again is 410 area code 596-1681, Mike Dotson Realty. All right. Like I said, tonight we're only going to do a 30-minute show, so we're going to do all of our national topics tonight. There's a few things one issue I want to talk about in Pennsylvania that I want to talk about, but how about Minneapolis? We're going to talk about Greenland. And then, of course, as usual, we do our President Trump, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to try to mash as much as I can in here for this half hour because, as I mentioned earlier, I have prior obligations or other obligations coming up at 8:30. And don't forget, at 8:30, I will be on the Sports Scope Show with Robert Butler to talk about Mike Tomlin and the coaching search in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And also, 9 o'clock, Steel City Sports World on Facebook and YouTube. And we have a lot to talk about, hosted by Luther Dupree, Claudia Rosano, Smoke, and Jim Frazier, Big Rome, and also Phil Moore, and possibly some other guests as well. So I'll be joining them at 9 o'clock. All right. Also, don't forget tomorrow at from 1 to 3 p.m. tomorrow, if I can find it. There it is right here. 1 to 3 tomorrow. Highway Radio Hits. I'll be on as DJ Fun doing my usual music, playing music and spinning the tunes tomorrow on Highway Radio Hits, 1 to 3 p.m. every single Thursday on Highway Radio Hits. All right. We got the comments section open here. All right. Well, there we are. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about today. President Trump, we'll talk about him later. But first, let's talk about what's going on in Minneapolis. President Trump and the FBI have sent subpoenas, and they're going after the local officials. Now, I've been talking about this not only here, but I've been talking about this on my Ralph Williams show, which is on Saturdays, 8 to 9 a.m., and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 1250 a.m. The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial in Pittsburgh, about how you shouldn't poke the bear. And what I'm talking about is what I mean by poking the bear is making comments of stupid stuff. And I get this, a free country, free speech. I get that. But sometimes you have to be careful about what you're talking about. Minneapolis's mayor, Minnesota's governor, Tim Wall, okay? Several other cities, mayors have made comments, and I have said this, that you got to watch how you poke the bear. So now there's subpoenas out there. They want to question, they want to arrest. They're going to come and get these mayors who are not letting ICE do their job. There's local unrest all across the United States because people don't like ICE. The progressives don't want them there. And I've told you 1,000 times about the progressives, okay? All right? So numerous times I've said about the progressives, okay? All right, for what purposes? That, thank you, Mark, for your comments. Okay? I said this, that the progressives are going to cause a big problem in this country, in the states, and in the cities across this country. But you didn't care. You didn't want to listen to me. You just thought that I probably don't know what I'm talking about. I've been called a blowhard and everything else. Okay? But the problem here is that I'm right. And I'm right. When I said don't poke the bear, and you're poking the bear now. And now you poke the bear to where the bears got mad, and the bear is now coming after you. After all you mayors across all the cities, across all the United States that is against ICE. All right? That is against ICE. Christ is risen. Thank you for your comments. Okay? So you get what I'm saying. All right? And I get these emails about how people think I'm not for the little people anymore. You're wrong. I am. But I also, I am in favor of public safety and law and order. Something that all you progressives out there are not for. You don't like police. You defund them all the time. And I'm right. You're not for job creation. You're not for anything but doing this. That's all you do. Flap at the gums, cause riots and protests, and somebody looks at you wrong, you're quick to protest and then do all this other, this other stuff. All right, that's you. That's exactly you, the progressive. And now we have unrest all over the country. And when the National Guard comes into your country, okay, all right. When the National Guard comes into your city, when the National Guard comes into your town, when the National Guard comes in looking for the mayor, please don't tell me. I want you to say I told you so, because I did. And I was right again in what I'm saying. In regards to the fact that and I know that you can't get away with what you have to watch what you say when you make comments about ICE and the federal government. I said this before, I'll say it again. Do not poke the bear. And you poked them. You decided to go boop. 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 You decided to do that. Okay? That's exactly what you decided to do. The one thing that I said not to do, and you went ahead and did it. And that's called poking the bear. And now, Minneapolis, the government officials there, here comes President Trump and his gang of federal agents. They're going to come in. They're going to look for your mayor. They're going to look for your council. They're going to look for your government officials who were involved in making sure that ICE does not do their job. This afternoon, today, on my Philadelphia version of the Ralph Williams Show, every Wednesday, 3 to 4 p.m. on 860 AM WWDB in Philadelphia, because no station in Pittsburgh will give me a weekday slot. For what reasons, I have no idea. All right. So we'll get into that a little later, because I do have some good news, but it's not what I was looking for. But as I always say, I'll take the inch before I worry about the mile. Okay. If I get the mile, that's fine. If I don't, well, I got an inch. And that's all I get in the media business is these little inches, that just the little tad, little inch. But I'll take for what I can get right now because I'm not getting anything right now anyhow, as far as some of that goes. All right. So go ahead. You know what Clint Eastwood used to say? Make my day. Go ahead, make my day. Make me right. Billy Joel says, you made me wrong, but I made you right. I'm going to make everybody right here because I'm right. When I say don't poke the bear. And now, Minneapolis, you have poked the bear. Who's next? What city's coming next that's going to poke the bear? I want some city. I want some mayor. I want some county commissioner. I want some council person in any city in the United States to tell me I'm wrong when I say don't poke the bear. I can't ask them. You don't know how to keep your mouth shut. You're another one. Okay? All you progressives out there, instead of doing something for your constituents, you're out there just flapping this and not doing anything. Nothing. Okay? All right? All right. That's Ralph's opinion on that tonight. All right, next let's talk about Frontier Airlines in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Frontier Airlines is planning on, when their contract runs out, shutting down in Harrisburg. I think they're shutting down all across the country. And you got these small airlines, Spirit, you got Frontier, you got West Coast, you got the Roach Coach or whatever these little dinky airlines, and some of them you don't even know. I know Frontier and Spirit are probably some of the ones, and Allegiant are the three that are most common, that most people know about. All right. That fly to some different cities at a low price. They're called low-cost carriers. Well, nowadays, for some weird reason, if the economy is supposed to be so damn bad, why in the world are you flying and paying $8 million to fly on other airlines when you could be flying Frontier, Spirit, Southwest, and maybe, and I forgot Southwest, I apologize for that, okay? All right? Spirit, Frontier, Southwest, all right? These low-cost airlines. Breeze, everybody flies Breeze. Because you know why? Breeze knows how to run an airline that's low cost. Why? Because their CEO and the owner of Breeze used to be involved with JetBlue. Okay? Allegiant Air. Now, Allegiant's got a problem right now. They're going to have, their pilots are talking about going on strike because they want more money. Okay? And what's going to happen is an airline like that who, an airline like that who is a discount carrier, they can't afford to give their pilots more money. They can't afford to, hand out raises. And it's not just that they don't want to, it's because they can't. It doesn't look that's going to happen. So you have another airline in Allegiant that's possibly going to shut down because of a strike. You have Frontier, who's looking to shut down, and Harrisburg Airport's one of their hubs. Spirit, one of their hubs is Latrobe Airport in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, at the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport, which is, believe it or not, expanding because of Spirit, and now Spirit's pulling out, possibly, because of their bankruptcy situation. All right? Allegiant Air, they kind of keep under the radar a little bit. All right? But they're there. Okay? I mean, they fly to Vegas. They fly to Florida from Pittsburgh. I'm not sure exactly what other cities they might be in. All right? I know Frontier flies from Pittsburgh to, I think it's what, Denver, Colorado, or something like that. Because I think they have a hub in Denver. Yeah. Who would want to fly from Pittsburgh to Denver in the wintertime when you can go there in the summer? I guess for skiing purposes, I suppose. Or maybe perhaps a job or something like that. I don't know. Frontier Airlines is about to go out of business because they're booking flights right now, and some people just don't want to book their flight right now. They're one of those procrastinator types who just simply walks right into the airport, gets a ticket, gets on an airplane, and goes. They don't want to plan ahead. They have no plan A, no plan B, nothing. All right. So Ralph's opinion tonight on Frontier Airlines. You know what? It looks bad for them right now, but we'll see. They could pull themselves out. We'll see what happens. Spirit, I think, is finished with bankruptcy. And I know that, it's a bad situation right now. My dad is running a company, or my stepdad, more or less. Okay. But like I said before, here we are again. The same thing. We'll see what happens as we go along here with the airlines. All right. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of President Trump. And that's brought to you in part by tonight. Let me see here. Yeah, that's brought to you in part by tonight. Yep, that ain't it. Yep, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Let's look here. All right, there we go. Globe Great American, or the American Income, call American Income Insurance today. Life insurance policy at its best. Call Tyler Terry, 814-592-0601. Tyler Terry will get you the best insurance from American Income. American Income Life Insurance Policy. And let me say this, it's not that expensive. That's number one. Number two, always, and I say always, help your students out around here and make sure that they are okay as well. All right. I think I told you the story about what happened to a friend of mine and one of his daughters. All right. All right. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of Trump this week. All right. Let's talk about Greenland. President Trump announced today that the Danish or Dutch or whatever you want to call them, who own Greenland, have decided to come around and let the United States do what they almost need to do that they probably didn't really even need to do. But Joe Biden insisted on doing it. I'm sorry. President Trump insisted on doing it. Okay. Insisted that we need Greenland, that we need it for our public security system, and we need it for everything. Okay. Come on. What are you working on now? All right. I got a person of interest and I'm watching on something and they're in the mischief now. All right. And if there's anything you want to talk about, Ralph Williams 737 at gmail.com. I got an email here from Randy. Randy says, Ralph, he says, I love every second of your show. I love from the beginning when you do the cartoon stunts all the way to the end. Well, thank you, Randy. Okay. All right. The good, the bad, and the ugly of President Trump. Let's get through that real quick. I have a prior obligation, and that's why we're going to end this early tonight. We're just doing 20 minutes, a half hour at the most. I got some announcements to make and a couple good ones. There's a possibility that I'm going to be putting the Ralph Williams Show and Sports Corner on Sundays, 8 a.m. for the Ralph's Opinion Show on 6:20 a.m. WKHB. And then at 5 p.m. on Sunday, I will be putting on the Sports Corner radio show. All right. So that could happen on 620 WKHB. I'm working things out to find, you got to work out what contracts, you can work out the little fine tuning. All right. So that's happening. That could be happening. It probably will. Okay. The good, the bad, and the ugly of President Trump. This week, he made every effort to try to seize Greenland. But I heard as of tonight, he has made some kind of an agreement on tariffs and has decided that he wants he wants the United States to take full control of Greenland. But the Danish are not getting rid of them that fast. Okay? And another thing you got to understand about President Trump, not only is he a bear that you don't want to poke, but he's somebody that always sort of gets his way. There's a few things he had to tinker back on. He probably was the same sign up I saw in some people's homes. So I'm assuming he's scaling back on some things coming up this week because he doesn't have what he needs to understand anything. Dom Costa Jr., who was in my studio, yesterday, talking about something, and then come to find out that he had a little bit of a problem. All right. All right. The good, the bad, and the ugly. What's bad about President Trump this week? Not a lot. All right. The bad part about this, the Epstein files keep coming up. Here we go again. All right. What's bad? All these ICE things going on. It's making President Trump look bad because he's trying to clean up this country of bad crime, illegal immigrants, and no one support. Instead of running around on the streets, you should support your president, whether you like your president or not. And there are some things I don't like about Joe Biden, but one thing I always did support him on was when he did a military strike, or if it was something to do with law enforcement getting extra or whatever. I like Joe Biden. Just like I like Donald Trump, because he's my president. And he knows his way around when it comes to getting where he needs to go. Deals he makes to deals and everything else. All right. That's what's going on. The good, the bad, and the ugly of President Trump. What do you think is good? I think the Greenland settlement tonight is a good idea. But I think it's bad because what you're doing is you're making your scouting department work harder when your team isn't on time either. And it all runs in between sports and cola. Let me tell you how this works. I went into a gentleman's place, on the north side. I stayed the night. And I heard a conversation going on between him and this dude. They were arguing over a Winston, I'm sorry. All right. Found out there was some drugs transaction going on. All right. It was not just once. It was a few times. Let me tell you that story some other time. All right. But I'm not going to go into it today. But I will say that the bad part about all this with President Trump, the ugly part is the stock market went down in some sectors today. And now President Trump is starting to piss NATO off, which of course doesn't do much good anyway, because like he said before, NATO's useless. Okay. And that's exactly it. So tune in about 8:30. I will be on with Robert Butler of the Pittsburgh Scope Skate. All right. The good, the bad, and the ugly of President Trump. Greenland. What's bad about Greenland? Great country, a lot of space. But you know what? Our other allies would rather us not come after major listings. Until next time, this has been Ralph Williams, and I told you tonight was going to be a condensed version of the show because I have another obligation tonight. But I want to tell you about here's the video. I want to tell you about what's going on Saturday. Here we go, 8 to 9 a.m. All right, and then at 10 o'clock a.m., the return of the Saturday Sports Show. All right. Okay. Don't forget about the Saturday Sports Show every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on the Sports Nuts Network, YouTube, and Facebook, and also on the Twitter X platform. And don't forget this weekend, we got football. We got Saturday night's main event on Saturday night involving WWE wrestling. Cold weekends all across the country, and please, by all means, be safe. Go out and get what you need to clear salt off your sidewalks so you don't fall. Make sure you have enough heat. If you need to get warm, go to a warming center or something to that effect. Okay? All right. I'm Ralph Williams, and until next time, next week, I'll be back full force unless I get a call. But at 8:30 tonight, tune into the Sports Scope with me, Ralph Williams. I'll be a guest on with Robert Butler to talk about Mike Tomlin and to also talk about not only just Mike Tomlin, but about the Steelers coaching search. 9 o'clock p.m., Steel City Sports World with Luther Dupree, Claudia Rosano, Smoke, and Jim Frazier. Also, don't forget on Saturday, too, as part of the triple hitter, Ralph Williams Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 12:50 a.m., The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial, and soon to be on 5 p.m. on 620 a.m. WKHB up in Pittsburgh. I'm working on that. That's coming up soon. The Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Claudia Rosano, Luther Dupree, and Smokin' Jim Frazier. All right. And don't forget on Tuesdays as well, don't forget about the Sports Corner show. Here it is. And also don't forget about Wrestle Talk, too, 5 to 6 p.m. every single Tuesday on the Sports Nuts Network, YouTube, Facebook, and also on the Twitter X platform as well. And like I said, please be careful. We have bad winter weather all across the Northeast, Midwest, in the West. I mean, it's everywhere. So be careful. I was out and about earlier today, and, of course, you got everybody running around at the Walmart getting toilet paper, paper towels, carts full of soup, and acting like the world's about to end. Down here in Berlin, Maryland, we're expected to get about 4 inches of snow. I heard 4 to 8 today, so we'll see. The weatherman, they have this jargon where they go, how do they put it? We got these models. We got these different models of what the weather's going to be like. All right. And also, as I mentioned earlier, I got an email today. I've been working for months to try to get on 620 WKHB. Now, my agent worked out a deal with them to try to get me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That went kaboom. So now he's going to put me on. They want me on Sundays. Okay. 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 a.m. for the Ralph Williams show. And then 5 p.m. for the Sports Corner radio show. So you get Sports Corner radio show 2 times in the same weekend. All right. And then you'll also get the Ralph Williams show, which you already have 2 times on in Pittsburgh. You have it on for a 3rd time and then once in Philly. And don't forget next Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. on the Philadelphia edition of the Sports Corner show. Or no, I'm sorry, the Ralph Williams show. I will be live call-in every 4th Wednesday of the month, live call-in show. All right. Gives you an opportunity to call in and express what you want to say. All right. I'm Ralph Williams. Until next time, have yourself a great one. Please be safe and please stay warm. Have a good one. Thank you. See you next week.